I'm around to help out if you've got questions, but I'm going to turn you loose now on the assignments. Now, I want to talk about that a little bit because we've done all the lunches database cases, and we've done all that stuff. So what you've got to do are these things out of the Sharda text, and this is the Sharda text, and just a series of those things that need to be done. A couple of them, in fact, that's what do. And then these others, you should have uploaded them already, so you should be in good shape. I want to make sure before I get to, I was going to talk a little bit again about some of these concepts here that we've got. And before I do that, I want to take some time to talk about these projects. Now, officially starting in week 11, there's no class time. Now, typically, I'll be up here. I'll be over in the office. And I'll be here, and I'll probably beam in so people have got questions. But for all intents and purposes, you're really flying on your own. And here's what you've got. You've got the check your understanding. That stuff is out of the Patrick text. I've got the instructions for those. There's an alternative. There in the Patrick text, there's one of the appendices. You can download Oracle and play around with it a little bit. So if you've got your own machine, you want to do that, fine. Then, so you can do either the check your understanding instruction, check your understanding items. That's they give you a little business problem, write some code, or you can do the Oracle. I think if I were in this situation, if I had my own machine, I'd download the Oracle. Now, all I ask you to do with that is just provide me print screens, so I've got verification that you did it. Then the SAS Visual Analytics project, the instructions are here, and I'm going to ask you to go over to Teradata University, check in over there. There's a password, and it's analytics. If you haven't registered over there, you'll need to do so. And then I've got a series of projects that I'm going to have you do. Okay? And some of the navigation may look a little bit different because they've changed the site, so it's going to be a bit different, but the basic stuff is there to get done. Now, let's do this here for a moment, and I'll just, if you haven't registered over there, you should by this point. Let's see. Yeah, the Teradata University Network. Okay. I've been over there once or twice again today. And okay. Yeah, I'd already now you'll need to go in and register, and the password is the word analytics. Now, Teradata has got all kinds of resources that you can utilize. You can go through here and get certification if you care to, and it's going to look pretty good on a resume, but it is a piece of work to do that. Now, there's some of the introductory stuff they've got, okay? And then you'll want to click on software. This site was started by the folks over at Oklahoma State University, then the University of Arkansas get involved in it, okay? So I want to click for software. It should pop up here for us in just a second. And here we go. Now, this is a nice site. I don't know if the ERD, if that's going to be of much value to you right off the bat. But this SAS, they have a SAS Visual Analytics. They have you can get access and to access it and to use it and try it. This is a good thing for you because basically you can tell your employer you've worked with it. It's expensive. to buy copies, etc. But the folks over at OSU, the University of Arkansas is involved now too, have cooperated with the company. And obviously, you know, they're selling software. But look, they are going to give you an opportunity to drive the thing, and you can authentically say by the time you do the exercise, yeah, I've worked with it. And they've got white papers, stuff about the, you know, about the company, and you'll want to go to the visual analytics, okay? And it's going to load up. SAS every year is voted one of the best companies the world to work for, and they are also, their products are absolutely incredible. And we'll see one. We'll take a look at it here. Okay, it's going to take maybe a little bit to load up. Hopefully, being on the trunk line, we're going to be okay. So now, there are a couple of tools that they've got here, and this is pretty typical of what you would see if you come in as an entry-level management person, and you're probably going to have the report designer. You'll have the data explorer, and that's the one that's got that I'm going to have you go in and play around with a little bit. They may have to get the flash player, allow it. All right. You've heard me talk about this as a hybrid product. This is the best tool out in the industry. Now, it's important to understand that all this stuff is really just designed to help you be a better decision maker by taking the data that you've got and transforming it into actionable data, which is basically information. And so let it open itself up a little bit here. And it's going to get some of this stuff, and it's going to be slow opening. Sometimes it is. So we're going to let it get rolling here, I hope. And I'm going to reload this and see what I get here. Okay. Now, this is the data exploration module of SAS. You saw earlier they had a report designer. The way that SAS works is, let's say that you're at, the way it operates, you're at work for somebody and you go through and you do the data explorer. You run some reports. You've got a list of reports you got to run every day or run every week, whatever. Once you run those reports, then the idea is you take the file that you've created here in the Analytics Explorer and you create a report with it, and you can do some really, really beautiful stuff. Now, if you want to start a data source project, you can. This is one that somebody from Data Admin Fall, and just select a data source, okay? And I think I'm going to have you guys, if I'm not mistaken, trying to remember which one. I think it was the bike. I think that was the one that I was going to have you work with. And let me look at those instructions real quick, and I'll see. No, I was going to have you do the Insight toy demo. Well, let's see if they've still got it over there. If not, we'll do a substitute. And there's the Insight toy demo. I'm going to click on it, okay, and it's going to start to load. Now, this is a demo, but it will let you see. It'll give you a nice, well, it's going to show you what you'd see if you were working with this. Now, all I can tell you is, if you walk into a point and you say, I have a little bit of experience, I've worked some with SAS, that's going to be a real positive for you. And if you look at, and you take a minute and you look at what's on here, okay, You've got over here some data, all right, and you'll see this right in here. Then you see a toolbar across where you can create some reports. And here's where you drop data items in, okay? Here's where we can generate some automatic charts. So when I've said, this is a hybrid product and it uses the best of both worlds, there's no doubt that it isn't. Now, I'm just going to fool around with it a little bit. And we want to click on the data, okay? If we choose, we can add some additional data sources in here, okay? But we're not going to do that. We'll just leave it be. And you can see all the tables I can make. So I'm going to take, let's look at the instructions I had versus what we were going to do. Cost of facility. All right. Let's get the facility, okay? And we'll add them over. And then we're going to get, let's see, and the facility continent. All right. And now we've added these in here, okay, into an event and then to a transaction. And let's scroll down here some more. And we're going to find some product sales size. We've got the product make. And we've got transactions per year. Now we've got unit sales. And we're going to do it for facility. Okay. And then we're going to get that unit sales for, see how do we want to weight this? Let's just try it by facility age and weight it by that, okay? Now it should give us something here. What are we doing? All right. Let's just pull it. Let's see if we've got, I'm going to have to add the data in here. I just don't come over here and play around with that much. So this is my deal. Let's look at the instructions. I might give myself a clue. Because it's been a while. All right, that's crazy. Okay, and I've got I've got a little link to a little video there for you. So let's do this. With the event. Oh. Let's just kill this thing and start over. Yeah, my fault. Let's load this back up here and we'll go back in there and mess with it some. We'll do the Data Explorer. Then let's see, we're going to select the data source. And then we'll come up here and we'll find we're going to work with the toy, Insight Toy demo. Let's get the Insight Toy sales instead of the demo. That may be where I messed ourselves up at. All right, now that's it. I'm sorry about that. I took us to a little bit more complex report that I'm ready to deal with today, and maybe with. Here's the deal. If you look at the left, you're going to see these categories, okay, or dimensions like we've talked about before, and then you're also going to see some facts or data, okay. Now, I'm going to, in terms of categories, okay, I'm going to start with the facility cities. All right, and this is the frequency of them. And now if I want to measure, I'm going to add, and if you click on the measure, you'll see a drop-down menu. And let's look at order total. Okay. And it's going to give us the order total by facility city. You see what we did there? So it's a lot like pivot table, except for one thing. It's got a very nice set of charts that you can work with. If you look up here at the top, okay, you've got an automatic chart. You can do a table to give you that. We're back to the automatic chart that it gave us the default. They're going to give us a data table. Here's another. Here's a line graph. Okay. And yeah, they tell we got two, and they're too close. So it's not going to let us do that. But let's see. Here's another. And I'm going to have some different ones. Oh, you weasels. I want to do a heat map. Too much data display. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Here we go. This is going to give you a nice set of data points. Okay, it's just another. It's a type of a line graph. That's all there is to it. Now, if you want, you can click on this drop down and add another category, add measures, remove stuff, do whatever you choose. You can export the data, you can export the image, you can launch, okay? And I could run a regression equation on this if I cared to do it. I could show some of the details, the types of visualization that I want to do. So as I have you walk through that exercise, I'll go back over there for a minute. And I think these links are probably still operable, but I'm going to have you do some different map visualizations, use some different data, that type of thing. Okay. And this is really, and I've got these instructions here, this is really intended just to give you a chance to kind of play around with it as a sandbox. I want to try this again. Okay, they want me to add the filters to it. All right, I'm going to add a filter. And what do they want me to do? Okay, now. I've got the facility city. Yeah. Now, anytime that you're working with one, this is the nice part. If you just want to get rid of it, it's simple. You just delete it. You can start over, do what you want. Okay? But the whole idea of this is it's pretty simple. You're just going to, all you're going to do is just add in the measures, add in the categories, and away you go. That's all that there is to it. Now, let's look at the product line, and let's try an automatic chart for that. Okay, and I need some data to drop in here. And so I've got by product, I got a product chart, and here are my measures. And I'm going to grab just order totals. And there we are. Okay. This is going to show us the distribution of order totals. And then we could go back and add a category. And we could do that. Let's do product brand. Okay. And they have two brands there, novelty and then the toys. Now we could just get rid of it, but as you can see, you can mess with it, play with it, and that's one of the things basically I'm going to have you do in this exercise over here is just walk through and create some views or visualizations. And I even give you some even give you some output of what I'm wanting to see you produce. And it's pretty intuitive, so there's not that big of a deal in terms of working with it. But you'll have to be registered over at Teradata to get in there and to do it. So that's pretty much it as far as that goes. And I'd leave it to your own devices to mess with it. Now, the check your understandings. Let me go back there for the first second. And if you've got your text, the Patrick text, here are the instructions, okay? And every chapter has a little blurb there. It says, check your understanding. And if you got a text, you open it up in those pages, and you're going to see it's got a little business problem. And I'm going to ask you to write some code to solve that problem. Now, you'll note we've been through all those chapters, and you're often going to find, well, you will find those check your understanding items are embedded in some other examples that they're similar to it. So that's, you could do that, or you could do the Oracle. I guess as many queries as we've run everything, I could say this, some of these are very challenging. Some of them should not be. Some of these will probably be easier for you to do if you go into Access and you use the design view as opposed to writing the code. If you get the design view right, it's gonna create the right code anyway. So you've got a couple of ways you can go at it. Now, those are the pages, and then let's see it pop through here. And here's the alternative. And what I ask you to do is, I think it's Appendix B in the Patrick text. Yeah, it is. And what he does there is, if you have your own machine, you can do this. And then when you're finished, you can erase it off of your machine. But you can download a baby version of Oracle, install it, and play around with it a little bit. It's a sandbox toy. So if you do that and you send me print screens that verify that you've done it, that's an alternative assignment for you. Is everybody clear on me? You don't have to do both. I'd lean to doing the Oracle for a simple reason. We've looked at Access and SQL so much, and the book does a pretty decent job of showing you some of those views or print screens of what Oracle looks like, but you don't ever really get a sense of it until you're there actually using it. I've had students who came back later and told me about it and said, hey man, I'm glad I did that because it was just, I was ready to do it. I don't know I know the three main products that people are going to use if they're really savvy. They're either going to use Oracle, they're going to use SAP, or they're going to use SAS. It's just going to depend on the company, its business, its environment. I have a SAP exercise there for you, and I'll show you here in just a second. So the whole idea is that you can really, and here's the instruction for the SAS Visual Analytics. And then also, if you want to do some extra credit, I've got these for you. Okay, these are some more check your understandings. Okay. Now, what I ask everybody to do is when you turn in check your understanding, if you do that, turn in the database or turn in the following. The underlying, I want to see the SQL or the design view and then the results set. If you want to upload an Access file and you've got access at home, or you want to come in here and do it, that's fine. Either way, I want to be able to see it. No, I prefer the database because then I can really see what you've done. But if you give me print screens, I'm good there. So there's a few, I've got a few things there for you to do. Let me click the next. And this is from Shar. This is the stuff that's due this week. Now, let's look at the next module. So you can see this is why I'm kind of turning you loose so you don't have to feel all harried and crazy about it. And if you're smart, I do this stuff and get on as fast as I can. Here's the extra credit, okay? And then you've got these database cases. We've already done them, so you should have already uploaded them, so that's out of the way. And then you come down here to week 13, and I've got an extra credit opportunity for you if you choose to do it. Talk about what your data strategy is. I give you instructions on that. Then in week 14, you've got an Oracle assignment. This is this should be uploaded here if you want to. And of course, here's the extra credit upload. Now, in the past, I've had people go over. The people at SAP used to be very nice and let us go in and use their demos. But somebody in their marketing department got angry about it and said no more. So I used to have a link I could take you over and let you try using SAP's tools just on a demonstration basis. But they got hot under the collar, and so I'm out of that. But you can find YouTube videos that talk about how to use SAP, how that product works. And it's a shame that they did that. It's a real shame because it's a nice little tool on its own, and having any experience with it is really, really good to you, and be really good for you. These are all due. This is week 14 and then week 15. Okay. Now, it's finals week. Let's talk about it. Okay. I'll probably do another little thing next week and just have a little blurb up there and go through this again, because there's always going to be somebody that will miss some of this. The schedule for our final is on Thursday night that week from 6 to 8 p.m. Now, I've got the part A of the final exam is due at the start of the final exam period. So I've got some work that's due at the start, and it's more of a hands-on kind of thing. You're going to do a little bit of forecasting, okay? And then in the final exam period, I have some quizzes, okay, that will take up the 2 hours. Frankly, if I were you, I'd get as much of this done as possible. I would not come into the final exam. Well, the stuff that's due at the stuff that's due at the start of the final exam period are projects, and once that's over, then the 2 hours is basically quizzes out of the Sharda text. That's the business intelligence text. Okay. So budget your time accordingly. Anybody got a question? I got 3 or 4 of us in here, 8 or 9 of us out there. Anybody got a question I can try to help you with? All? Yeah.
When you talk about the final, what do you think would be the best way to go about doing that?
Well, part 1, I mean, the one that's due at the part of the final that's due at the start is going to be the one that's more challenging. Let's take a look at it for just a second, because I got you some instructions here, okay? And I would do it first. Here's all I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you go through, at the end of every chapter of the Patrick text, okay, there's a thing that's called key ideas, key questions. And so I'm just going to have you develop a little database, okay, with true-false questions out of each chapter, all right? And just do a simple little database. And then once you've done that, I'm going to have you run some queries on it. So junk like that, the SAS and all that, I'd get all that stuff done.
What about the quizzes? I have a hard time.
Well,
Test.
they're open book, open note. And if I were in this class, I would have the digital copy of the book, because then I can search fast and get topics. Otherwise, you're probably better off to go into each of those chapters and make yourself some note. I mean, it is open book, open note, and they're drawn right from the text. They're objective kinds of questions. So I think, let me look at the time I've got allocated for them. Okay, you could see, like, there's part A, and then part B is this, where I have you do the, I have you run some queries. This is the part B that's due. Follow me? So I'm going to have you do the database, and then I'm going to have you run all the different types of queries that we've worked with throughout the course. Now, let me get over to the finals part. It's a good question. There's 2 hours that night, and if you think you'll get into the middle of it and get panicky or something, there's nothing that stops you from getting, you can work in advance as much as you want. There's nothing that stops you from doing those quizzes before the start of the final exam period. Okay? So I'd take a couple of them before and just see how it goes. Have you got a digital copy of the book, or have you got a physical copy? You get physical? Okay. A good searching strategy is going to be to use the index, and also in that to take a look at the chapter overviews. There's nothing in it that's really all going to be that difficult. It's just the time frame. Now, let's look at this for just a moment. This is part C. This is from the Sharda text. It's 10 minutes, 10 items. It's 10 points, 10 items, 20 minutes, 2 attempts. And I can give you a quick preview of it. Nothing terribly momentous in here. Subjective questions. Okay, now these are fill-ins. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit hardy. And I don't think I have all fill-ins. I do have quite a few. And these are going to flow right through that chapter. Okay? And let's look at D. And we'll go back over here. And you do get 2 attempts. So I think some of these are just straight up objective. No. Oh, fiddle. I didn't flip over the next quiz. Stuck myself back in the seat. All right. Bless it. Come on. Well. 20-minute time limit. This is a 1 attempt deal. Yeah, let's look at the preview on it. And see, now it's got some objective items. There's 1 attempt on it. So it's open book. I wouldn't wing it. I'd have notes for those chapters. There's 1 attempt on this one. There were 2 attempts on the other. And let's see here. I give you a 20-minute time limit. And we'll go back over here for a second. Okay. Review this. Okay, you got some more fill in the blanks. These types of questions are usually going to be a direct quote from the text. Okay, so I'd have the book. I'd be looking for any terms that are italicized, anything like that. boldface, anything that the author's kind of setting it off. I'd be looking at those. I'd be on the lookout for those. In addition, I would probably, if I had having the physical copy, I'd go and look at I'd make sure I had some bookmarks like the chapter summary, the appendix, the index, okay, and then you can search pretty fast. That makes sense?
Yeah.
My advice is I wouldn't try to sit and do these all at once. I do one or two through the duration. So at the end, you say, is it possible for me at the start of the final exam to have everything done? Yeah. That's why I'm giving you the flex time. So like from here on out, I'll be over there, or I might be remote, but I'll be around. If you have a question, I'll try to help you. That's going to be up to what you guys need to do, but you can see you've got some stuff ahead of you. The one thing that really trips people up is after you've developed that little database, asking you to run the queries. Let me pop back over there for a minute so we can talk about it real quickly. Okay. Let me pop down here. You do have some work ahead of you. You've done exam A. You've done exam. You do exam B. Okay. You've done exam A. All right. Okay. You've created the database. Okay. Then part B. Watch. Is you're going to see, I'm going to have you run particular types of query from the most simple to the most complex. And you'll note I've got pages there that reference out where you're going to find some examples. Okay. And like I said, sometimes it's going to be worth it to try to write the code. Sometimes it's going to be better to go into the graphic user interface in the design view and do the query there. And that would be about the best advice I'd have to give you. So you've got work you can do. So I'm figuring people will be in here on Thursday nights or wherever they're going to be working. They'll be working on Thursday nights and use that time because we're not going to be doing more classes. I might come in next week and cover some of this stuff again, but that's it. Okay. So I think I pretty much done what I'm going to do tonight. And you guys are free to, I'm going to probably stay till about 7:30 and I'll be online. If anybody here have questions? No? Okay. Now I'll be online. I'll be over in the office, but I'll have this open up in case somebody has a question they want to help. They want some help. Okie doke. And don't forget to be on the lookout. I post virtual office hours. I don't know if any of you have ever used them, but what that means is you come in, you beam in, and I can try to answer a question or help you out. And it's really no different. I can do everything remote I can do in my office, except sign something physically. So if you're working on something and I have virtual office hours, hey, pop in and give me a holler. Okay? All right, folks. Thank you much. All right. I'm good. Okay. Okay, everybody. I'm back over here in my office. I'm going to be online here till about 7:30, as I'm usually in the class. But tonight and from here on out, I'll kind of be in we're kind of in an independent study mode. And I just ran through all the stuff that's going to be due for the final exam prior to the start and prior to the end of the final exam. I've talked about the check your understanding exercise, or the alternative exercise where you install Oracle, and you need to do that on your own machine if you care to do it. There's some extra credit assignments that are there available. The assignment involving SAS visual analytics and using it, and I have a detailed instructions there for you to get that accomplished. You've got, of course, regular work due, so you got a lot on your plate that's left in the course, and so we've got, and I'll just go back and so you can kind of calendarize it and put it together, and you can see. I'll go down here to the modules part. All right. Now we go back to back in the commons, and see if I have a cursor again, or did my cursor die on me? I may have killed Yo cursor. All right, let's go down here for a second. I'll pop back in here. Okay, now the modules. And we're down here at module 10. Okay. Lunches database 13, 14, 15. You should have already done them and have them uploaded. Then you've got two assignments. You got assignments out of the Charta text. And one of those web-based courses of data warehousing. And I sent an email out there. I sent a short little video cast to everybody about that. I'm pretty flexible on. There are some data warehousing courses that they advertise over there in Teradata, but there's not much, so I'm pretty flexible as far as that assignment goes, and I'd sent one out. And then if you run into the same thing with the data mining, I'm good to go. But this is basically to get you kind of acclimated to that. Okay? Now, let me scroll on down here. So I've lost my mouse and I'm without it. Now, week 11 is usually the official start of the flex time period in this course. It's like an independent study time, but you do have some projects and you've got several quizzes and things on your plate. So if you're smart, you're going to use the 3 hours scheduled each Thursday night to do your work or get your work done ahead. I will typically be here, okay, or remote. If I'm not here or I'm not remote, I'll leave a screencast or let you know something. There are going to be those. There might be that time that pops up during this time where I can't be here at all, and in that event, I'll just kind of say, "Hey, here's what's going on, where you ought to be." So let's look at that. Here's that alternative I talked about. Okay, and this is the SAS Visual Analytics, the project instructions. Okay. Then I've got a chance for you to earn some extra credit. Then here's some more from the Charta text. That's the business intelligence text. Those are due. And if I'm not mistaken, I moved all those back to Fridays. Then lunches database 16, 17, and 18. We've done those. So you should have already uploaded them. So you have an entire class period where you can work on this other stuff. This is why I'm talking about the flex time piece of this course. And then on week 13, I ask you to upload that. Where's your data strategy? That's extra credit, but otherwise you don't have anything, but you do. You have projects. As I said before, this is one of the great tests of the courses I teach is I give you a lot of individual freedom and give you a chance to see how you handle it for all intents and purposes. Better that you figure out now you're maybe not as good at time management or self-management as you thought you might be. Better you have that issue and you deal with it now than you deal with it with an employer, because the employer won't be positive. So I'm giving you a chance to kind of get that piece under wraps if you haven't already. Then here's week 14. Okay, this is the week before finals. The check your understanding assignments are due. The extra credit, that assignment's due. Then the Oracle assignment. So if you had done that as an alternative, the SAS project from Teradata, upload sets 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. You say, wow, you really do have a lot to work. Okay. And then, of course, we come to finals week. And if you've taken a final with me before, you know that I have stuff that's due that's typically project kinds of things due at the start of the final exam period. And then I give you quizzes. I had some great questions tonight, and we had some pretty good dialogue, I think, about the quizzes. Let me say this. Some of them are objective. Some of them are fill in the end. Okay? And your best strategy is to read the chapter, take some notes. If you don't have a digital copy where you can search quickly, use an index. It should have an index. In fact, let's just go up here, and I'll go up here to BioSource, and let's take a look at this. And I have it right there for you. Okay? You see, I like this because if I'm working in chapter 1 or something like that, hey, my friends, I can go quickly and I can find what I'm after. Here's the table of contents. And I'm going to scroll on down here. And if I want to search for a particular term, I can do that. This is why I like digital copies. The thing is with digital copies, usually, folks, you rent them. You don't have to buy the thing. You rent them for as long as you need them, 6 months or so. I do that. I'm not paying $400 for a textbook. I'll rent for $25. The publishers won't let us rent them for free, and the university won't cover it, so I take it out of my pocket. But hey, better I do that, and I've got something I can work with, and I like it because I can show you right out of the text. But the bottom line is you could do the search for it, search for things, etc. But I would not take those quizzes. Don't take those lightly. Okay. In fact, you're better off, I think, to take 1 or 2 of them for the next couple of weeks and get them done out of the way. Some of them will be objective. Most of them will be fill in the blanks, and they're going to draw a complete sentence right out of that chapter. Okay? So if you have something that's an approximation, you'll be in pretty good shape. And you have 120 minutes. You have two hours that night. So budget your time accordingly. That's the part of the final exam that's due at the end of the final exam period. You of course have the project kinds of stuff that's due at the start. And this is why I'm giving you these 3 hours. If you're smart, every Thursday night, you'll take 3 hours, you'll come in and you'll do your work and you'll get ahead. Is it possible for you to get it all turned in before finals? Sure. I don't grade stuff until it's due. But again, if you think you've got a really tough course, a really monster course you're dealing with in terms of volume of work, whatever, hey, I'm giving you some flex time here to work and get ahead, and go ahead and do that, and then divert your resources and time back to the other. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to be here till about 7:30. If you have a question, please avail yourself of that. One final pitch. If you look at my weekly schedule, and if you look in the announcements, you're going to see invitations to virtual office hours. I cannot emphasize to you enough that I put those there for a reason, and it's this. If I'm working remote, you can beam into me, ask me a question, and I can help you with it. Okay? Now, I don't post my office hours. Okay? I record them and I keep the recording, but I don't post it. So if you have a question, you're not going to be made to look stupid by coming in and asking a question and then I post it on YouTube. That's not going to happen. I'll just keep it. And you also know on my schedules, I've been saying Monday through Wednesdays, I will by appointment do a virtual office visit between 7:30 and 9:30. I am available. I'm also over here. I was here today. When I finished at 3 o'clock, I was here for 3 hours. I didn't have one person show up. Now, tomorrow, I try on Fridays, especially as getting near the end of the course, I try on Fridays to build in some virtual office hours or to be over here. But what happens but what usually happens is I get pulled into meetings or I've got something I need to do off campus. I do some community work. I don't get paid for it. And so then I'm having to kind of balance that out. So if I have about virtual office hours in the daytime, if I have physical office hours when I'm here, and then I'm willing to meet with you from 7:30 to 9:30 online, and it's basically you just come in and you have a question, I try to answer it for you. I don't get it. I don't know why you wouldn't avail yourself of that. So I am available to help you. If you're an advisee or you're in one of my classes or this class. And like I said, I can do everything I can do in my virtual office except physically sign a document. Okay, that's all I can't do. Otherwise, I do everything else. As I've said, as you're aware, we're trying to do this hybrid format, and I'm trying to see how I can work it out. And I have two big disappointments. One has been, I think, some very sparse attendance at times. The day or night of a class, everybody's finding a way to tune in and check in and see the thing. So officially, the attendance. The other has been, what I feel like is folks not really taking advantage of these virtual office hours. Okay, there's no need to. You can send me an email and I'll give you a question. Some of you found that you send me an email, I'll send you back a video cast or a video with my response. And I think I even did that with this one on this where we had some issues with the Teradata in that business intelligence text. But yeah, that's right, the one dealing with the data warehousing courses. So I'll be here. So if you have a question, feel free, and I'll try to answer them for you. In the meanwhile, I'm going to see if if I can get my trusty mouse to work. That did me good. Oh, it did. Okay. As you can see, I'm going to play around a little bit with SAS. There we go. It's a little bit slow to load. Anybody out there have a question? I see we're slowly depopulating here. Anybody have a question I can help you with? All right. Here we go. Inside toys. And let's look at the facility continent as a category. And as our measure, let's do product cost of sales, measures. Let's do product sale. Now, we can mess with this if there's anybody still there. We can put this into a table, and you'll show us by North America the product sale. Okay, I'll go back here. And we've got the product sale. And let's look at the groups if we have some groupings. Now let's look at the orders. Okay. So we'll just reverse that. And we can see the pop-up. We've got some numbers. Same thing here, same thing here. And let's put product price over here as a group and see if that'll let us. It's not gonna let's do that. Let's do product. Then we can add target rate. Well, we're good. This shows us sales by continent. You try a cross tab, but I don't think we've got enough there to cross tab it. Well, I guess we kind of do. And we'll just go through the, now we'll do a bar chart. We'll see each one of these visualizations. Okay. We can do a line chart. You can see we can do multiple charts this way. Okay. We'll just walk this on back. We have our fresh chart. I think we can start over. This is the demo. You can add a data source. Let's find that data source. And we'll go back here and again, Insight Toy Sales. I'll open that up. Now I think we've got something here we can really play with because we've got some real measures. Okay. Now I'm going to do the facility continents. Okay. And then I'll drop my data items here. So I'm going to come down to the measures and I'm going to choose market penetration. Okay. Now, if we want to make some sense of this, we'll put it into a table and take a look at it here. Here's the market penetration. And we'll want to add facility continents. There we go. Now we got the market penetration by facility continent. Set into a lattice. Okay. That into a bar chart. Pardon me. We'll try heat map. Okay. Not too bad. Decent. Scatter plot, we got one. No, okay, can't do that. But let's try a
line chart. Okay. We'll try tree map. You can see it shows us by proportions. And we've got a word cloud. We could try that, I guess, if it's going to do any good. No, well, I guess, yeah. A generalized linear model. Okay. And model comparisons. You could see why they call it visual analytics. And just a great, great, great tool. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. And I'm going to stop the recording and I'll let you go on to work. So